Good evening, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
Welcome to our day late, $1 short review of episode 5 of The Stand. This one is called Fear and Loathing in New Vegas.
Yep.
We're finally to Vegas.
Yep.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we were in Vegas.
Yeah, we were in Vegas. We've talked about this in the past. It's spoilerish. The book's been out. There's been a TV show. So if you haven't watched the episode yet, don't listen to what we're going to have to say.
Yep.
But you've been warned. Okay, so we've talked also the last few weeks that they've been getting progressively better with the episodes as we get closer and closer to the big conflict that's going on. The tension is ratcheting up.
Definitely.
And each episode seems to get a little bit more intense and a little bit more scary. Scary, not like jump scares kind of scary, but like scary of what's going to happen coming up and stuff. So,
yeah.
How do you feel overall about this episode?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I agree. It has been turned up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we saw Vegas. It is definitely the modern version of what you would expect Randall Flagg's Vegas to be.
Yeah.
You know, as far as you're like, yeah, I probably know those people. Maybe not. I'm not friends with them, but I might know those people.
We wouldn't be on Flag's side.
No.
But we've been to Vegas a bunch of times, and
yeah, but just those people. I mean, especially right now.
Yeah.
Over the last year, I don't know, just the ugly has come out in a lot of people. It's like, yeah, I've seen those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't shock me.
I didn't have an issue with it, but I was shocked about how they pretty much went full Caligula when they introduced Vegas.
Yeah.
Which is the Vegas that I always dream of them explaining in the book.
Yeah.
And so that was nice to have that.
Yeah. That's what I mean by the modern version of what, in the previous series and then in the book, these were in the 70s and the early 80s. Vegas wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff might have been going on more behind the scenes. That didn't happen, right? So those interpretations of what Randall Flagg's Vegas would be don't necessarily fit into today's sensibilities.
Right.
So yeah, it absolutely. Yep.
That makes I'm just like they're just going for it.
Yeah.
We get you're gonna have to remind me her name. Ray.
Ray is the
girl who is the spy there.
Oh my gosh, now I can't. Laurel.
Keep talking amongst yourselves.
We're horrible. Not Julie Laurie. Nope. She's just not even listed.
She's not even listed because it's kind of the spoilery. Tom's listed. Harold's listed. Lloyd, Ray, Julie, Teddy. Anyways, she is in the thick of it, and I liked how they started the episode with she was a mechanic in Boulder, and now she's using that as the way to get in, and she's at the dam,
right?
And Lloyd and Julie come and kind of grab her because she keeps asking for Flag.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
I like that was her in.
not super cool, right? That you're like. Maybe be a little less conspicuous. Right. But
it came across almost as like every conversation she has was, where's Randall Flagg?
Yeah.
Like that's how
you're
that's how they said
everybody how you can get to see, and it's like maybe do it a little more on the down low.
Yeah. I think she's on a clock, so she had to kind of get in.
Yes and no. I think it's a personal clock. She wants to just get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
She just is trying to trying to get to him, and she does.
Yeah, and she does. That's a really cool finishing scene, the last scene of the episode.
Well, and
next to last scene in the episode.
Yeah, it makes sense because in the book and in the TV series, I believe they do it in the TV series. She jumps out. Well, actually, Flag picks her up. He kind of beats her up a little bit, and it picks her up and shoves her head out the window of the penthouse.
Right.
And, he's like, I can throw you or whatever. And she just goes, really? And just turns her head real sharp and cuts her neck on a piece of glass from the window.
Yeah.
Well, the windows in Vegas aren't glass. They haven't
been
for a really long
anymore.
time because people would jump. So you can't even go out on the balconies anymore.
I like that scene. He was Flag was very much the epitome of what we have seen. The very calm, very charismatic kind of character trying to I've known since you left Boulder that you were a spy.
Yeah.
And I know who the other spy is. So who's the third? And you need to tell me. And then she takes a swing at him and tries to kill him. And he plays dead, which was a great scene.
Yeah.
Just because he pulls the scissors out of his neck and it just goes.
Yeah, it's still spurting blood.
You're a god. How would you? Okay, whatever. Sell the performance. But her choice of deciding to. She believes so much in Mother Abigail and everybody that's in Boulder that she actually does. She takes, which is, she takes the easy way out. It's not the easy way out, but I say the easy way out because to tell the rest of the story of Harold and Lloyd, no, Harold and story from last week where Nadine and Harold kill his friend.
Oh yeah.
And so they play it up like, Harold plays it up as it was a suicide, or they try to play it up as a suicide.
Yeah, Wozniak.
Wozniak, yeah. So they started the episode with that,
right?
And they end the episode with her actually doing suicide, actually being.
That's true. I didn't really put that
kind
together.
Kind of a bookend, either end of kind of how that.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a nice touch. And then we have a scene with Mother Abigail who decides to go.
Is leaving, right? So I was wondering when they were going to get to that because there's still. This was episode 5.
5, yeah. So we got 3 left.
3 episodes left,
yeah.
And there's a bunch of stuff to happen. So yeah, she needs to get a move on and get out because then she comes back and then sends some more people over. So she's just trying to not let him know who the third spy is because she knows she's seen him. She passed him a note.
The whole scene with Tom and him getting the note and he can't read.
Right.
And then he goes MON.
Yeah.
Means moon, and he kind of looks around like he knows it's important.
Right. And moon is when the full moon is when he's supposed to go.
That's right. I forgot about that part. See, this is why we're both on this show.
MOON, and then he's like, oh, something about the moon. I was a little confused by it's gonna drive me crazy what her name was. Jeannie.
Franny? No, Franny's the one in the...
Anyway, be nice. I'm sure somebody will put it in the comments. Anyway, she goes from being Julie and not Harold. What's his face? From their plaything, Lloyd. There we go. Lloyd's plaything to... Suddenly they're kicking her out the door, out of the elevator into Flag's
office,
room, and see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. And it's that was a super abrupt.
I took that as Flag knew the entire time and they were going to see how far she was willing to go
Yeah. It just felt like, again, I guess it's part of the being rushed. Like there's, because in the book, there's like this whole, that's kind of what happens is Flag ends up figuring her out because he can read minds or whatever.
Right.
He ends up figuring her out. She's with Floyd. They come, take her up there. But I don't know. It just seemed to happen. Like there was no. First, she's downstairs talking to Tom, and all of a sudden, everybody's in the elevator and they're
going
like,
up, yeah,
bye.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem like. Wouldn't you be like, what's going on? Well,
she kept asking. Even when they went and watched the gladiator fights, she was like, "When do we get to go see the guy upstairs?" Like, even with everything going on, and she played along with all of it, and they try to do the threesome and all the.
It just seems like everybody was playing along. She knew she was never leaving. She was either getting to Flag and killing him, which she did, but
tried,
she didn't. Or she was going to get killed, and she needed to get to that end as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And and then Flag knew what was going on, and then Floyd and Julie knew what was going on. It's like everybody knew what was going on, but nobody acted like they knew what was going on. So
yeah, it's a little back to what we've been talking about. Like this needs to be like a 20 episode to have. You need to have an episode with the three of them.
Yeah.
You need to have an episode with her and Julie and Lloyd, all of them, like just all the exposition that you need to do in that episode with Flag kind of like hiding in the next room or standing around the corner and kind of just listening and stuff.
He doesn't need to do that.
But the visualness of him kind of standing there, kind of listening in kind of thing would have been, but again, this was, they had to you had to introduce Vegas and everything that's going on in Vegas and the living in the free world thing, which was introduced in one sentence.
Yeah.
And as much as I like this episode, like this is one of those times when I wish you spent 3 episodes setting up the main characters in Boulder. You spend 1 episode of let's go to Vegas, and now we're in Vegas, and it's half the episode.
Yeah. And
I really do like what they're doing, but they need to spend a little bit more time in each individual spot.
Yeah.
And that's maybe the more we go along, I really wish this maybe would have been 12 episodes instead of 8.
Yeah.
And because you spend a whole episode setting up everybody in Vegas, and this particular episode ends with her giving the note to Tom, and then Julie and Lloyd coming and getting her, and then they go upstairs. Like
right.
So you have that cliffhanger, that's the word I'm looking for, of Tom getting the note, and then you spend the time, the exposition, and the next episode talking about, I've known all along, and I've been watching you since you got here, and I've been seeing so it's stuff like that I think a lot of people are struggling with, that they're skipping a lot of, not skipping details, but not explaining it fully.
Yeah, I feel like people who don't know the story at all might be confused.
Yeah.
About some stuff, like how to.
Let us know in the comments if you've been watching the show but you're not familiar with the actual book.
Yeah.
And because she's super familiar with the book, and so through osmosis, you spend enough time around people, you pick up things. But like COVID. But like I understand what's going on based on what we've talked about with the show.
Yeah, and you've watched
I've watched the
other
stuff.
series.
The only other thing, we got all the stuff that's going on in Boulder. Franny convincing Larry to go to Harold's house because she feels like something is is going on.
And that did happen in the book. I found it interesting and creepy, but relevant to today, that Harold planted bugs everywhere in his own house.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too.
Because when the book came out, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So why not plant some nanny cams all over the place?
That was a really good they've done subtle things about how it's modern times with cell phones and stuff like that. But that was one of the ones where I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because although I know the overall story of the movie, of the show, of the book and everything, I don't specifically know the details.
Right.
So when he went upstairs to their room, I thought he was trying to find a poison, because he's trying to kill Stu.
Yeah.
So he's going to poison the lotion or something like that, and that's what I
thought.
Well,
but that's why they stole the dynamite or whatever it was. And I thought he was going up there to plant the bomb.
Yeah, because he grabbed his coat and stuff.
Which he
may have done. I don't know, whatever.
But I feel like it had to have been bigger than what he could have fit in his coat.
Yeah,
and in the book, Nadine sneaks in because they kind of Harold figures out that somebody's been in his house.
Yeah.
And he's pretty sure that that it's Franny, and then Nadine kind of does the same thing to them and sneaks into the house and plants it in a shoebox. So, they're going to have to he's going to have to plant it somewhere. Somebody's going to have to plant it somewhere.
Yeah, it was just a good, like, tense scene.
Yeah.
Especially with Harold kind of telling the story when he was a kid, and then coming to find out that he was never
the guy who plays Harold is just so knocking it out of the park.
Owen Teague.
Yeah.
We've talked about him a couple times. He's super. He's got the creepy thing down.
But then he also comes across like when
he's quite charming at times.
When Wozniak was dead, and he's like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And he genuinely looked like he was sad, which he probably was, that he lost his friend. He wasn't that. Sometimes especially in TV stuff, they'll do stuff where it's like anyone actually paying attention knows this person isn't really feeling the emotions that they're saying they're feeling. And he was really good at, if you looked at him, you would think he was sad that this had happened to his friend. He was sad and he was mad because he took the easy way out, right? So
I think Larry picked up on that. Like they show Larry kind of standing there, like kind of looking like there's something weird going on.
But Larry has said from the beginning that he gave him the creeps. So his radar is already on.
He's
so
anything
that Harold does is
the only other thing I want to talk about was with Larry and Franny, not Franny, with Nadine. Nadine goes looking for Joe. Joe ends up being with Mother Abigail. Mother Abigail and Nadine have a little conversation, and Mother Abigail says, "You have a choice until you don't."
Yep.
Kind of giving the indication that she knows that she's connected to Flag and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which she does. She's Mother Abigail.
Right.
But Nadine goes to Larry and tries to sleep with him, because she's been keeping herself for Flag.
Right.
And it was like her attempt, like her
last ditch effort to
save
her soul.
I want to say it was almost like a reverse suicide attempt. Like I know I'm doomed this way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to save myself. I need you to be here.
Yeah.
And she was so overly aggressive from how she's been the whole time with Larry that Larry freaked out.
Yeah.
Legitimately, like it was good on him to sit there and say, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
As much as I like you, want to be with you, whatever, it can't be this way.
Yeah.
And that's why he's in Boulder and he's not in in Vegas, even though he's got a past of having.
And you're not a nice guy, Larry, which they do touch on a little bit. I talked about it several episodes ago.
Yeah, when they introduced him,
that you're not a nice guy, Larry. And in the story, that comes to him all the time. You're not a nice guy, Larry. You're not a nice guy, Larry. And so, but he really is.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't, he would have totally taken advantage of that situation.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I really appreciated that scene because it's a great character build for both of them. Specifically for Larry, because Larry's got the checkered past that he is questioning himself, but especially for Nadine, because she's resigned now to the fact that she has to go to Flag at some point in time.
That was her last attempt,
and she's trying to be a good person. She's trying to take care of Joe. She's trying to be a good teacher. She's trying, except Flag has got his claws in her so much since she was 12. So I just loved that particular. There was a bunch of really cool scenes in this episode, but again, this should have been 2 episodes or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
This particular thing.
Yeah, I think 2 would have been better. I think 12 would probably have been perfect.
Yeah.
You don't want like 20. I think that would have been too much. Even though the book is thick and you totally could have filled 20. I just think that, we've talked about it before. Stephen King, there's a lot of mental dialogue going on and stuff, and you don't necessarily need all that. But yeah, I think 12 would have been good.
Yeah. So that is our thoughts on the episode 5 of The Stand, called Fear and Loathing in New Vegas. Let us know what you thought of New Vegas. Is just going to screw with me. Let us know what you thought of the episode and our thoughts about it in the comments down below. Please be nice. We've asked you more than once in this episode, so that's a requirement around here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We might have to start a TikTok. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
And until next time, cult members.
We can't stop here. This is Backcountry.